bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom.
Alright, we got the stern drive number 2 ready to go on. So let me pull this out of here. And as I said, these are a little heavy, so be ready for it, because it comes fast once you pick it up. There we go. And again, a little CrossFit stern drive action. And a lemon squeeze. All right. Come on now. There we go. Little persuasion. All right, on the dolly, we'll roll it in there and get her done. All right, so what we're going to do is a couple of things. First of all, like I said, it's on this platform I built. Want the head of the stern drive to line up with the housing. First thing we're going to do is make sure that the engine alignment is good with the gimbal bearing, etc. This is the side where the engine got pulled, and this alignment tool slides in, goes in nice and easily all the way. It's in, turns, and in turning it, you can see the, I don't know if you can, but the gimbal bearings turning there as well. So it's aligned perfectly, and with that we'll pull this out without damaging anything, and we'll start the install of the stern drive. Alright, so everything's lubed up. Actually, I'm going to try one more. I'm going to turn these sideways. Okay, just kind of get them out of the way when you're rolling this in. Alright, put that down there. So everything's level. This is the O-ring for the water inlet. The yoke's greased up, and I think what you find is trying to have the coupler in this position makes it a little bit easier, and the U-joints in here are greased up as well. So show me run the alignment tool through. Now we're going to just get it through the gimbal without doing any damage there. You shift the cable. It's got to go in the pocket right there. Sometimes these go in easy, sometimes they don't. This is hitting up top, so we're going to try to lift this housing a little bit. All right. That seems to be all right. Let me okay. I'm going to try one thing, which is spin the prop a little bit while I push this in, see if it pops into place. So hang on. Alright, so I did put the prop on, had to put it on reverse just on the splines to get a grip. Housing is tilted up, this is all flush, and I put some pressure on the top while I wiggle the prop, and it helped the splines align and on the stern drive and the coupler. So that's part of the dealio. You got to figure out what's going to work, and sometimes they don't go in easily, but they'll go in. You just got to find a way. So these are lined up. I'm going to push it together, and on that point I'll stop putting the nuts on the top of the studs right here, and we'll get this together, and I'll be back in a hot minute. Okay, so we are getting close. I'm going to do something others may not believe is right, but it works for me and has for years. I use some anti-seize on these studs. If you've ever taken off nuts off of a saltwater Sterndrive, and not a lot, just trying to put a dab on. My dabs are sometimes a little strong. I do try to bag and tag everything and take it apart so I can find it easy enough to put it together. Put together when the time comes. Alright. And what I'm going to do, I won't bore you with this. There's 6. Simple enough. 6 studs, 3 on each side. Anti-seize. I'll grab this after I get all 6 started, and we'll tighten them up. But for now, let me get going on this, and I'll be back in a minute. So all the nuts are started. Like I said, a little anti-seize on each one. I'm going to tighten these up and just snug them, and then I stagger side to side, try to get it on nice and square. I'm not even snugging at this point, I'm just getting them down on the threads to the housing. And then once we get this on complete, we'll do the rod actuators and get that together. I'm going to hold off on the shifter cable. I still have the shrink wrap on. I want to make sure it's in neutral, and then when I put it, washer and cotter pin in, and on the length of this, which is super important, you got to make sure you have that right. You want to make sure you have it in neutral when it's supposed to be in neutral, so when you put it in drive, it goes. Alright, so we're snugging this up. There's no torque specs on this as far as I know, and we're just snugging. We're going to go over twice to get them all snugged up properly, and we'll stagger them. I don't think there's any torque specs. The way I've always done it is tighten them up and then go over them one more time with a little bit of effort. I want to be careful. It's aluminum, and you don't want to pull the stud out. You have more fear of pulling the stud out than stripping the threads on the stud. Alright, so I'm going to go tighten this one more time, top to bottom, zigzag. I don't know if you can see that. That's the grease right there from the O-ring on the water inlet, which is good to see. Although I put the O-ring on, I like putting a little bit of the marine grease on top of that as well, just to make sure you get a nice tight seal. You want the water sucking in through the Sterndrive and not an airspace between the Sterndrive where the gasket's supposed to fill. Alright, should be it. Snug, we're good. Next we're going to do these. That's a 5/8 inch swivel, and I'm sure you noticed the swivel, but it's 5/8. turn that. Turn this. What you're gonna find is, I'm gonna actually put some lube on this too. Let me get this out of the way, and it should stay where it's at. But the height of the stern drive is going to have to adjust a little bit. Alright, it's not heavy because it's hinging. I'm going to actually put a little bit of grease on here. This is where we're going to start the ride. Nice grease on here. And alright. Like I said, bag and tag, these are the washers that go between the actuators and the stern drive housing. Greasy gloves don't work real well. So we're gonna, there's a C-clip that goes on the outside, so we're gonna start it with this. Just roll them. You can see it coming through there, I hope. And hiring and lowering, or raising and lowering. We'll get this to line up pretty good. There you go. Going through there. I'm going to turn that and put a little grease on that one. Same thing. This is the Lucas Marine grease. Perfect. Grab a washer. Get that out of the way. And I think you all know already, that's a Harbor Freight dolly on sale for, I don't know, I think it was like $14. So we're gonna have to raise the engine of the stern drive a little bit for this. Right? So you'll get the gist of it. You raise it, it's gonna line up just like that. So we're gonna, let me knock that through a little bit. A little persuasion, gentle. Right there. Knock it back. Come on. Perfect. Alright, now I'm try to line this up. I may need a little effort. Pry this out a little bit from stern drive housing. I prefer using a little bit of rubber persuasion than metal, if we can, to pry it out. There we go. All right, that's in. I'm gonna grab the C-clips. This engine will be close to getting it running. Of course, I'm gonna, finish up with the throttle cable, but we're in a pretty good shape right now. Earlier, I changed the gear oil, of course. Made sure that was good, and like I said, and I think you saw, I greased the U-joints, the fitting for the gimbal, etc. So again, let me jump off, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, so I'm going to put the fitting on the throttle cable, attach it to the stern drive. So you got to write everything down. There's a certain number of turns. The easiest way to remember it is how many turns did it take to take that fitting off of the threaded shifter cable. So it's 21 for me, and I do a couple things. Sharpie, put it up here, but I also have a book where I keep track of maintenance in. So with that, we're going to turn this 21 times, and I won't bore you with that, but I threw a little marine grease on the threads to help a little bit too. So let me get this going, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so that's 21 times. We got a couple of stainless steel washers new, and a new cotter pin. So I'm going to put those on now. And sometimes I move before I think. There we go. I like the washer on the inside. When I took this apart originally, it did not have one, but I like washers on both sides of that connection. Stainless steel, of course, everything. And go. You don't actually have to bend these too far, because once they're bent apart, even a little bit, they're it's not going to slide through, which is the fear, is that it slides through. But that's fine. It's separated plenty. So this one's done, and at this point, yeah. There we go. And we'll snip it a little bit. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so right now the starboard's all set. I'll put the cover on it before I head out for the day, of course. And the next time I'm over here working on the boat, we're going to put the plugs in the engines and get this baby started. Alright, so at this point the drives are on. They are ready for paint. I have the Total Boat barrier paint, and then Aluminum AF paint from Total Boat. I'm going to be putting that on next, and getting this thing ready for the water. But wasn't too bad. Took a couple hours, 2 hours to get these two stern drives installed and closer for the water. Anyway, a couple of weeks we'll be swimming. Have a great day.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang.